It's Chris from Axel as well as Solstice. You can find us on both websites, one for retail, one for institution. You can find us on X, YouTube. The weekly video is for free for everyone that can subscribe, from institution to individual investors. We're not a broker dealer. Our past performance doesn't give us any indication of our future results. And at the same time, you can find us on Discord as well as Instagram. Let's go to the first slide that I have up here. What I did, I put everybody's talking about gold and Bitcoin and silver. Let's talk about Bitcoin on the weekly chart. I have the market profile where it shows you for the 3-year, each bar represent 1 week, which is 5 days. Unless it's a holiday, you would be using 3 or 4 days. We got the value area high where most volume happened. That's where they think there's value at the high and where there's value at the low. The point of control is the node where most volume happened on the charts, and it's usually the peak of a canyon, and this is the valley where least amount of volume happened. We can see on the weekly chart when we kind of like looked above here and failed, the RSI was diverging to the downside when we were going higher. We eventually could not hold the 123, 120 area. We fell down towards the 80,000. Then we tried to bounce back. The 92, 94,000 was very critical in order to clear this consolidation and the breakout. In this retest, we were not able to retest it. We tested the F3. We stayed below the 18 simple moving average on the weekly and fell further down to the backside of the 80,000. We tapped on the 116 simple moving average and holding it right there on Friday. Does this mean that there's going to be a change in trend back to the upside? Possibly. If there isn't and creates a small little shoulder and falls back through, I had these 4 levels here, which is the high here. I put this one here. I did the distances almost identical, and I had mentioned the 74,400 in my previous videos, and I said we may end up testing this area in the 68,000, and I kept saying 74,405 is very critical because that's where the RSI, the MACD, the stochastic CCI, the advanced decline line with the directional momentum indicator had peaked before we got that breakout where we got this candle push up, break up on all the noise that happened in Bitminer, IBIT, and SBIT and Ethereum. They were telling us, hey, we're going to create an electronically traded fund. We're going to have these investments in Bitcoin, but eventually it's a mirror image to create revenue, and that revenue, because of the bonuses that the money managers do and stuff, caused a reaction. There's no interest anymore after the sell-off, and now there's no one interested in buying. Can this cause a bigger problem on Bitminer, where SBIT is the long with shorting Bitcoin or being Bitminer short? So you have to pay attention if he ends up coming back to this area where there's going to be opportunity. I did not mention the time spent high and the time spent low. You can see where most time was. It was creating a node here on the time. Eventually did not make it. You can see that number 9 here is a little bit extended to the outside. So you have 2 nodes and a gap here in the time spent. If the time spent was from the high to the low in the 3 years below 50, the sentiment is supposed to be bearish. Can we end up coming to 74 and maybe a little lower? Pay attention to what the technicals offer you. I'm just letting you know this is the weekly chart on the market profile using the volume profile and the monkey bars with the time spent in relationship to the overall market. So let's take a look. Remember to check us out at solstice.axalatrai.com. Give us your commentary. Let us know what you think that we can assist you with to help you improve your goals in 2026. Let's go to the first chart. And what I did, I put axalatrai.com to give you a little bit of information about our website. You can check us out right there. You can take a look at the home at solstice.axalatrai.com. You can check us our website where we can do the disclosures, we show the daily charts, we give you your commentary. We have a Discord live feed where we are trading right there for educational use. You can see what we do there when we enter a position, exit a position. We are able, you can ask for the service, or if you want to learn a little bit more in order to be able to hunt on your own and eventually become a better trader than what you are. So this is one way to look at it. We got 2 packages right now on special. This is our website where we are on the YouTube channel. This is the weekly video that you can get. It's for free for everyone. Make sure you check it out. Give us your commentary. Let us know what you think about these videos that we do. And if you want some changes done to them. So that's the YouTube channel. And on X, I wanted to show X before I go into the video, the commentary and what we did regarding the Friday session coming in before the market opened up. Here, I'm going to show you the time, basically the morning commentary on January 30th. I say, good morning. The overnight inventory is inside the range, which is the prior day's range. Pay attention to value areas, which is the high and low. I showed you on the monkey bar. You can use them on the 30-minute to give you the daily profile, high, low, open, and close of the candle, and giving you where most volume happened in relationship to the profile. And I said the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ were bearish in the morning, opening up on a bear tone, and the ticks were down for that morning. So what I wanted to tell you is basically pay attention to the ticks. Tesla, Lockheed Martin, and SB being basically short Bitcoin. So take a look. This is the ticks, the New York Stock Exchange. You can see it here, and you can see the NASDAQ was bearish. The high and low tick for the day were basically below zero in the morning session before we started getting a relief in the morning, but I wanted to show that. Let's take a look at in here where I commented about gold and silver. I want to show you the timestamp. I said at 10:15 a.m. Pay attention to gold and silver in relationship to the haters out there. I told them the RSI was extended on the weekly and the daily. We are above 70. We were at the 85-90 range. Everybody looked at me like you are crazy. What I did, I took the daily chart on GLD. This is the electronically traded fund on gold. And at that time, I mentioned this green box and I said, pay attention in case we come down here and get a small bounce on it. This is a daily chart on the candle. What did the candle do? Came straight down. It did not give you a relief to come back down. So it broke that uptrend channel that we broke out of the gap, and we filled this gap in here on the profile on gold, and we got a small bounce in the afternoon showing you the trade. So let's go to the next chart. What I did, I showed here SLV, which is the electronically traded fund, for SI, which is silver, or the micro, which is SIL for the small silver contract. I showed the $71 range, and I showed this gap in here. We fell into this area, filled this gap at the 71, and this gap down here hit the 69 and bounced off these two island, because this is an island reversal, island reversal, island reversal before the continuation up. We eventually had that big island gap on the close, opened here, fell further down, touched this area, missed the 50 SMA, and turned back up. So let's go to the next slide. And I said, pay attention to the Fibonacci's. I kind of gave a commentary in the room about, using, whether you use cones, fibs, or measured moves. It'll give you an overall view what you think. And here I put there for educational use. We're not a broker dealer on silver and gold, or SI and GLD. So if you look at here, I posted silver. When it hit that $71.10, I said to everyone, hey, let's get in this area. We got in here. We added a little bit more. I know it went looked above, came back down. We were making lower highs here on the chart, while the RSI or the MACD or the CCI stochastic or the advanced decline line, the directional momentum indicator on the DMI negative, was too extended to the high, while the DMI was on the floor. We eventually reversed the 18 SMA and the 5 crossed, and we pushed higher. This is one. Here's the second one on gold, same situation. We were creating lower highs while the RSI divergence was creating a higher high, and eventually we got in this area in here, and we pushed it up back to the from the 432 back to the 430, 448, 447, and we ended up exiting that position as a day trade on the platform. And I said to everybody, hey, take the money and run. And I used, cartoon character from X. So these are the things that we do on the charts on daily basis to give you an overall view, what you are looking for, what to do, and how to look at it. So let's go to the first slide that I have up here. And what I did, I put the NASDAQ 100. The NASDAQ 100 is the micro NQ or the QQQ. You can see on the charts the 50 and the 18. The 18 is the green and red. The 50 simple moving average is basically the yellow. The 116 simple moving average is in like burnt orange, beige, brownish color. You can see we were consolidating. We looked up, fell down. And here, since we've been consolidating, this is the August, but if I go from here to here, you can see that this consolidation, every time we went to the 26,000, couldn't hold it. We looked up, we were creating higher highs. You can see here, I put HA, HB, HHC, and HHD, and then we were creating higher lows from the lows here, and eventually we fell further down. This is a shoulder, this is a head, and created a kind of a higher shoulder. If this is going to fail, is it going to be the right shoulder created here, or are we going to lose the 50 SMA coming back to the 116 and coming to the backside of that open cone? So very importantly that you understand that the NASDAQ is inside a compression box. It's making it a very high. If you're a day trader trading back and forth in that range, that is great for a lot of day traders. But for people that are trying to find an investment vehicle, you have to start looking at alternative different investments between growth, moderate, conservative, dividend yielding, and sector rotation accounts, so you can find the right opportunity if you are a swing trader that is looking for 18-month outlook instead of a year outlook, 6-month outlook, 3-month or 1-month or weekly charts. I'm a day trader. I trade about 40% of my revenue comes from short-term trades. So there's a difference between a swing trade and a day trade. So pay attention to that technical right there on the NASDAQ. Let's take a look at the micro ES, and what I want to do here on the micro ES, show you something a little bit differently. And you can see that on the charts we were going higher highs, but we opened in a cone. I consider this like a double top, but we are holding the 50 SMA and F6 because on Friday we stayed inside the range of that big candle of the Thursday, rallied up, opened here, fell down all the way, came back up, and just slightly closed on the volume profile. I want to show this volume profile on the monkey bars on the chart to give you an overall view why I have these on the chart. So I'm going to go from style in the setting, do monkey bars. This is going to show me a daily chart, which is 3-month, showing you the volume profile each month, where the value high is, value low, and the point of control. I usually use these to show you where we are in relationship to the week. And you can see on the profile here, we can see that the S&P 500 closed just slightly above the time spent and the point of control. Does this mean it can come back further down? It can, because we're starting a new month, but I want to pay attention to value high, value low, and the point of control on the charts. That way we can have a better idea what to look for. And on the NASDAQ, I want to show you the NASDAQ as well, micro and Q. And I'll come back to the ES. We can see that the micro NASDAQ 100, if I take the highs and lows of the month, the 50% is slightly above the point of control and the time spent. And we can see on the profile that we closed slightly a little bit lower than the point of control on the monthly. So if I go back to the daily, we do 10 days, 30-minute, you can see the market profile on the NASDAQ. We were in that consolidation push up, look above, we failed, came back in that range. This is very important. If I take the high and low on the Friday candle, if I measure that distance and my time spent is below the point of control, the point of control didn't migrate lower. This is a high node while the time was a little bit lower. So if I take the high and low, my 50% is slightly above the NASDAQ. There is a slight bearishness in the NASDAQ compared to the S&P, and I want to show that on the you can use the Q on the NASDAQ micro NQQQQ, but I want to show the micro ES, and I will show you the SPY. You can see on the SPY, there was consolidation, look above, fail. The time spent was higher from here. That's why we pushed. And if I take the high and low, my 50% is here. This is the monthly point of control. I'm slightly above it. So the sentiment is still on the bullish side on the S&P, but that does not mean that we're going to continue higher. Possibly. If it doesn't, we end up falling. We're going to trade what the charts offer us. So let's go now in the style, go back to monkey bars. We're going to go back to standard. We're going to see that the profile here that we formed is on an uptrend, so I can get a line, basically a measuring tool. I can show you from here to here how much we moved. We moved 3.36, but if I take that from here down to here, we moved 1.75, but we closed 1% down from the weekly high and low, because this was the Monday candle low to the Monday high. And if I take it to the close here, we got 1.16. Either way, we are in that consolidation, in that symmetrical triangle. So we got to pay attention to what the market offers us. We're going to do on a 30-day, 36-hour, the overall view on the S&P 500. And I wanted to show you the machine grabbed the high and low for here to measure the fibs. But what I want to do is go get a measuring tool. I'm going to go from the weekly high to the weekly low, and I'm going to change the color on the setup. You can see my extensions are from 0 to -1, 0 to 100, 100 to 200, and I want to change these colors to be baby blue or cyan. And from here, we're going to extend them back to the first of the month, so that way everybody can see them. 0, 1. And I wanted this to be done that way so we can get an overall view where the 50% is in relationship to the 0 line on the weekly. Oh, this is my weekly. Sorry, I made a mistake here. Hold on here. This is what? This is the 25th. See, I made a mistake. I wasn't even looking. Edit the property. Activate. Hold on. Activate. We're going to grab this. Move it to here. So my measuring tool now changed to this area. So we can see that there's consolidation where we were not. We created that shoulder, that head, that shoulder fell in. Then we created an inverse shoulder. You can see it, one here, one here. This is the shoulder or the cup of it. Look above. Now we're creating a shoulder, a head. Does this create a shoulder, or do we break out, continue, or do we fall back through that shoulder, which is an irregular, and instead of an inverted shoulder, it becomes a head and shoulder, then fall further down. So the RSI is in a downtrend. You can see it here. We're going to show you how to adjust this. We can grab this to here. I'm going to edit the property so we can save it on the platform. Okay, you can see it here. We're going to make it yellow. We're going to extend to the right. We're going to put it on. We're going to put the label there from the high to the low. We're going to allow it, and we're going to save it as default. So when I push OK, you can see the way the extension is. And if I draw one from the top, we are in that symmetrical triangle, but we do have a sharper one down here. You can see it, and one here that's sharper. You can see that there is a change. I put these labels to show you, hey, these are the levels. I do not have to. I can have them hover, but I wanted to show these levels on the chart so you are aware of these triangles on the push up and push down. We are in that symmetrical triangle, and if I draw a downtrend from the peak of that RSI to that bottom of that RSI. If I end up breaking that channel and going up, that would be great. But if I look above and fail in rejection, then the RSI is in a downtrend and the trend changes, but we created a higher high. You see here, it's a lower high from this candle. When we were going up, you can see the RSI was making highs, but when the RSI switch created a lower high, this was telling me, hey, this is a short right here on the RSI. So that's a good way to kind of view the overall remove drawing. I'll keep these two on the charts for the week, so that way everybody can see in the following week where we end up on the extensions. Do we end up on the top side, or do we end up at the bottom side on the monthly chart on the S&P? So we're going to take a look at my GLD. I want to show GLD. And the reason why we took that trade, you can see that we came back to that area of in the gap, because you can see between here, the close of this candle and the open of this candle, there was this gap. We filled a portion of the gap, came to the 116 SMA, found some kind of support, rallied back up to the 50 SMA, found rejection, and fell back in to close right here on gold. That's GLD. Let's do silver. SL. And this is silver. I wanted to go over it to show you this is in the advanced decline line when the DMI got too extended and the ADX, the DMI positive went above, and the ADX went above 60. So when directional momentum indicator went too high, it gave me that line because we got too extended. We were consolidating here. We created a rounded bottom. Then this cup gave an opportunity. We can see it setting up. Hey, let's go long. And the crossings of the 5 and the 18, the 5 and the 18 SMA go long. We tested it here a couple of times, rallied high. But when we got up here, when the RSI got to this area and showed that the RSI is creating a lower high, when we were grinding higher, I said to everybody, this is going to be a short. And everybody was looking at me like in the room, why? We tried shorting here. We got a little bit here, we didn't short. Then we saw this one here and we said, hey, this is going to be a short. The RSI is creating a lower high below the 61.8. And eventually we got that nice gap and dump. But on the reverse down here at the 200 SMA, we found support on silver and grabbed it for a little bit, reversal back up from the exit on the 116 SMA. So that's in silver. Let's go last but not least to check the Magnificent Seven. There are going to be reports on Google, AMD, ABBV, and AVGO in the biotech sector. Not AVGO, I mean ABBV. Let's do this one. This is the tech sector where the Fantastic Seven are, or the Magnificent Seven. I have included Netflix in there, and you can see we were consolidating for a long time here. We fell down, rallied up, couldn't make it. Here, there's a lot of consolidation because there's mixed bag between Microsoft, Meta, Google, which are going to report. Amazon going to report this week. Pepsi going to report. You're going to see those tech sectors is going to be changed between the semiconductor and the technology XLK, because these are very heavily weighted in the S&P, in the Magnificent Seven, or the NASDAQ. The S&P 500 weighs about 39% of the NASDAQ top 7 companies, NASDAQ 100, as well as, the NASDAQ is heavily weighted in those tech. Is there going to be rotation between defensive consumer products and staples? Possibly so. We got to pay attention to these levels without being biased so you don't end up getting caught. And you can see that we are coming in compression where the RSI, you can see that downtrend channel here. We can grab it, put it together this way. We got this channel from here to here. Grab it and put it up. Do we end up breaking up, or do we end up falling down? So we got to pay attention to the reports that are coming in the coming week on that NASDAQ, because you can see on the short term down, mid-term up, long-term up in relationship to that move, but that downtrend starting to appear on the charts. So let's take a look at right now, move this one out of the way. Last but not least, what I want to do is show the NYA New York Composite. I don't want to do XLK or or the semiconductor, but I wanted to show the New York composite. Hey, is there something going on in these sectors on the charts where there is that continuation we had? We double top, we looked above and failed. Does that channel hold us, or do we end up coming back to that 50 SMA and that consolidation where we broke out of? So I am paying attention to the New York composite because it represents most of the stuff, and you can see the RSI starting to get a little bit weak. Does this mean it doubles here and moves back up? Possibly, but if it doesn't, we got to pay attention to it that way. And let's do one more. And what I wanted to do is show you the VIX, VIX, and VIX. You can see on the VIX on the daily, every time we spiked up to that $20 range, we fell back in, spiked up, fell back in. We are in that linear uptrend channel. If you draw a midpoint between the high and low, we are right in the middle of that linear regression uptrend. So what I'm going to do is show you how to draw it, or you can get a pitchfork and do the same thing. We're going to do it to here, and we're going to do one from here in the center. Okay, this is a little bit off. You can see where we are. We just slightly closed right in that range. I mean, if I activate it a little bit lower, we're right on it in the 200 SMA. So I am paying attention to that pitchfork or that linear regression with 100% up, with 100% down. If in case it comes down, creates a cup and pushes, that's great. And if it pushes up, creates a cup up here on the support of that channel and goes back higher, that would be great. This is on the VIX. So let's go take a look at the googl. I wanted to show googl for one reason and one reason only, that we are coming into that, because Google seems to be a little bit more stronger than a lot of them. You can see every time that 18 SMA held, but we consolidated here. We fell down through it, came back up, held twice here, rallied up, but we tested it twice. So I am paying attention, even coming back to this consolidation back here in F3 would be okay if Google makes it down there. If there's going to be continuation, that's great. It's got the earning right here. You can see it, and the announcement on the chart. So that's for Google. Last but not least, let's take a look at it on the 30-day. So you can see that there is a lot of consolidation. This area is the value high. If I zoom in here, I do have the value high, the value low, and the point of control. We are sitting right above it. So I am paying attention on the hourly chart from high to low. I'm paying attention to that 5-6 day range on the charts in case I end up coming to the backside of that 116 and the 61.8 to see if there's going to be opportunity before the earning. If not, we're going to trade what we see on the charts. I hope this video was very helpful. If you have questions, once again, get in contact with us at the following number or on the website. Take care.